Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, yeah.
Go for it, Jay.
I love it because all you have to do nowadays is like a tweet and they'll come after you with everything that they have. I think it's hilarious. I think it's funny. And let them fight it out. Let Mark Hamill come back and grovel and say, I'm sorry, guys. I did it again. And let me backtrack because this is what these cancel culture people do. They hunt you down, they watch, they make sure you say everything correctly. They make sure that you're not liking tweets. They make sure that you're not commenting. They make sure you're not following anybody. It's unbelievable. One like tweet and people are like, "Oh, get rid of this guy. He's an abomination to our cause." To me, it's comedy at this point. It's laughable.
Yeah.
Imagine living your whole life scared to like a tweet because people will come after you. Like, what? How do you live like that? It's unbelievable.
Mark Hamill is a leftist psychopath, okay? He might be worse than JK. He might be, and she's bad enough, but Mark Hamill is completely insane. And I've been saying this
when he shared the nude pictures of the president's wife, like I was like that.
I wasn't complaining.
For me, oh, I know you weren't, but I'm just saying, like that was it was just bad. It was horrible. Like, you shouldn't have done that.
He's an idiot. You never apologize to the mob because they will own you. Like, it, first of all, it seems like a half-assed apology anyway, because there's no such thing as gender identity, and you can tell that he's trying to stay on that middle ground there where he's not ostracizing half of his audience, and it's not going to work. And I think that eventually this is going to bite him in the ass. Anyone that's taking these positions and claiming transphobia or what have you, eventually they're gonna eat their words, I think. And I value entertainers more when they stand for truth instead of this nonsense. And then obviously, liking something doesn't mean you're totally on board with everything. Sure, okay, whatever. But I also think on the other side of it, it's ridiculous that people think, okay, well, now you're the enemy because you're liking something. And I used to be the same way. 2 years ago, I blocked a bunch of people on Twitter because they were liking people just talking smack about me on social media. So I was like, oh, okay, these people don't like me. Okay, fine. But it's not that serious. And I think a lot of people are just bored. So overall, just stupid. It's a stupid situation.
It really is, and it's so funny because now he is backtracking. And now, again, it's not a full-fledged apology, but for this whole ignorance is no excuse. It's so pathetic.
I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about. Mark Hamill is a guy who does all the right things, says all the right things, votes for the right people, calls out the right people, whines about Trump like he's supposed to, post Black Lives Matter, post all this bullshit, like rainbow flag, like whatever. That's who Mark Hamill is. But he did one tiny thing wrong. It's that he liked a tweet from one other person who also believes all those things, who also is totally in lockstep with the woke mob, except about biology. She supports transgender rights. She said, I'll march with you, trans people. I want you to be happy and live your best self. But I think there's a difference between trans women and biological women. That is just too much. So then I don't understand. If you scroll down just a little bit, Jeremy, India Willoughby, if they're calling what J.K. Rowling said transphobic, citation needed, isn't there some sort of sexist attack from India Willoughby saying I'm more of a woman than J.K. Rowling, this biological woman, is? I feel like if it was 10 years ago, we might say something like that's sexist to attack a woman because of her femininity or whatever. But now it's shifted a little bit. Now, India Willoughby is part of the most protected class there is, trans people. So then J.K. Rowling simply saying citation needed, that's a transphobic attack. And Mark Hamill liked it. That's all it takes for these fucking freaks.
Well, that goes to show you is that these people are never going to be satisfied. And this is why you cannot just live your life to appease other people and stop caving into this idea of like hate speech, because where do you draw the line at hate speech? Now, if I say I'm a real woman, that's hateful. Like, that's ridiculous.
I think we're also missing something. You guys keep saying this is his first time. He liked to tweet back in 2019 as well.
That's right.
And so that's the problem. It's a pattern of behavior, okay? He liked 2 of her tweets. That's enough to say, you know what? Obviously, he's a transphobe. He agrees with everything that she says. And the fact is, his apology that he made last time obviously was a lie. This man should be strung up by his bootstraps because he's obviously a complete turf. He hates all trans people. He's out here in the streets calling for him. Just like JK, she's out in the streets gunning for him. They said it. She's evil. She's a terrible person. So I think that, I think the mob is correct on this one.
It's funny because I have no respect for either one of these individuals. And I know that J.K. Rowling, or Rowling, or however the fuck you say her name, whenever she gets to be the target of the left loonies, a lot of the conservatives will be all jumping on her bandwagon suddenly. And I'm like, you guys have no idea who you're celebrating, because she is a psychopath and she hates your guts passionately. But with Mark Hamill, would you say he's substantially worse than her, even though they're both horrible idiots? But Mark Hamill's bad.
He spends way more of his time talking about straight,
true.
every single political issue, whereas she's pretty focused on real women's rights, biological women's rights. That seems to be the only time she really talks too much about this stuff. It seems to be focused on where fucking Mark Hamill will do whatever. He'll tweet about whatever. Fucking Trump fucking has skid marks in his underwear. Fucking Mark Hamill will talk about it for a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?